I'm going to explain how our natural renewal system works as the years pass. At a healthy state, 10 million cells in our body die every day. For example, heart cells live 20 years, pancreas and liver cells between 5 and 7 years. Intestinal wall cells live 5 days. Now, all these cells need a replacement. A child naturally produces a special type of cell in an organ called the bone marrow, which is the center of our bones. These cells are capable of becoming any kind of cell in our body. These are called adult stem cells. 10 million new cells replace the 10 million that died, leaving a surplus of 4 million, which are used for his growth. But what happens when he breaks a bone? The extra 4 million are going to be in charge of regenerating it, and that is why we see that in 3 to 4 weeks max, the child's bone has regenerated. This is the most important thing. It is thanks to this surplus that we can see improvements. Now, let's see the end of our lifespan, from 70 years old and older. What happens when a person breaks a bone? Unfortunately, it takes a long time to recover, and sometimes it can no longer fully regenerate. That's because we only produce 1 million of these cells, leaving us with a deficit of 9 million cells every day, which can manifest in different ways, and this is where we get to the word disease. What is a disease? It's just an imbalance. More dead cells versus replaced cells. And when that happens, for example in the pancreas, if there are more dead cells than there are replacements for them, you get diabetes. If there are more dying cells in your bones than new ones replacing those, you get osteoporosis. And so, we can cover a very long list of diseases, which is all summed up to this imbalance in our body. Now let's go back 20 years, at age 50, when we should all be enjoying very good health. Sadly, that's not entirely the case, as we only produce 5 million cells by then, leaving us with a deficit of 5 million. "50% of the cells that died were not replaced, and this is how lots of issues begin to appear that are apparently all related to aging. Now let's go back 10 years, when people are usually in very, very good health. Here we have a production of 7 million cells, leaving us with a daily deficit of 3 million cells. Those 3 million cells are not noticeable from one day to the next, since our body is made of thousands of trillions of cells. However, everyone claims that when they turn 50, they look and feel different than 10 years before. This is due to these accumulated cell deficits. Now, what would happen if we could manage to always replace the cells that died, regardless of our age? What if the body could replace all those dead cells? Well, that would be a very good thing. We could perhaps stop the deterioration, and maybe even prevent some diseases. But we could not pay the debt that we already accumulated from these missing cells in our body. Well, what would that mean? Preventing disease is very good, but what do we really want when we get sick? We want something more. We want to improve our health. And what do we need to improve? A surplus of cells. So, what would happen if I could help you achieve this today? If from now on you could always have a surplus of cells, now you could turn the clock backward and have 14 million cells, the same amount you had when you were a child. Now you will be able to start paying the debt, and you will be able to start regenerating the organs that have a cell deficit. And that is exactly what I have come to offer. By only consuming 2 StemTech capsules, you are going to release millions of these adult stem cells. What does that mean? that with 2 capsules, a 40-year-old person is already going back to the regeneration level of a child. A 50-year-old person, 2 and 2, and a 70-year-old, 2, 2 and 2. So, for the first time in the history of mankind, we are achieving this great scientific breakthrough and in a natural way, through products that do not have any side effects. Now, the only question is, do you want to turn the clock backward and have the cellular regeneration level that you had as a child, and go back to reproducing 14 million adult stem cells? It's up to you to decide.